Off is a French RPG horror game created in 2009 by Mortis Ghost that has served as a catalyst for indie games such as Undertale, One Shot, Deltarune, Darkwood, and many, many more titles. This game has been an enigma within itself with its jarring visuals, complex storyline, and the obscene concept of the world itself. The game's overarching storyline is pretty much hidden beneath the surface, only truly presenting itself at the tail end of the gameplay. From the surface, the plot seems to revolve around the world presented to us. However, that's not the reality of this story. This game is deeply rooted within loss. However, it's much, much deeper than just that alone. We play as a character known as the Batter, who is sent on a sacred mission to, quote, purify the world. We are immediately met with a character known as the Judge, a very creepy, well-spoken cat that guides us through the world. The areas in which we interact are known as zones. Each zone has a zone guardian who oversees that specific area. At first, we seem to be helping the people around us. However, the more we traverse, the more the Batter's morals seem to be misaligned with our own. Making our way through each zone, we kill the zone guardians. However, Yaphet, the second zone guardians, happen to be using our friend the Judge's brother as a skin suit. Once we kill Yaphet, we get our first glimpse into some of the grief aspects of the game, watching the Judge cry out for his brother on the top of the library where we had killed him. The Judge is absent for the rest of the game until the very end. The more we progress, the more destruction we bring to the world and the people around us. Once we get to the 4th/5th zone, that's when the game starts to tell the true story. Throughout the game, there's a lot of talk about a queen who rules over the entire world, as well as cutscenes of a small sickly child. We learn that the child's name is Hugo, and he is the one who created the world we are playing in now within his mind. It's revealed that the Batter is Hugo's father and the queen is his mother. The game begins to evolve into a story about Hugo's battle with his illness and his parents' early onset grief of their child. The Batter doesn't handle this grief well and begins to lash out at both Hugo and his wife, becoming extremely absent and abusive in Hugo's time of need. Due to the extreme abuse, Hugo retreats within his mind, creating 3 friends known as the Tall Mister, the Bird, and the Big Mister, all 3 being the Zone Guardians, as we know very well. Once we approach the Queen and slay her, we are met with Hugo, who cries out when he is ruthlessly beaten until he is, quote, purified, just like the specters. Off is a story about abuse, loss, sickness, grief, and escapism. The Batter handles his grief in the worst way possible by causing even more harm to his family. The message of this game is tragic and unnerving, giving us an insight on how abuse victims feel when they're put in situations such as this. Hugo, a child who's deathly ill knowing he's never going to get better, a mother who is grieving her sickly child whilst also being heavily abused by her loss-ridden husband, a man who is so consumed within his grief he worsened the very thing that caused his loss. A story that is so in-depth within itself while being paired with horrific visuals depicting the reality of what Hugo was put through. Thank you for listening. This was Off.